A long time ago, in a land far away, there was a woman who only had one child, a daughter. They didn't have much money, and they lived in a tiny house that had 2 beds and 2 chairs and a small table. The mother and her daughter loved each other very much. The mother worked very hard, day in and day out, grinding grain to sell in the town. And the daughter helped her mother when she was not in school. They made just enough money for them to eat and live a very simple but happy life. Every year there was a group of musicians who would play in the little town. To announce their upcoming concerts, the musicians would parade through the town, walking past the tiny little house, playing their instruments. Can you see them passing by? The girl delighted when they came to town, especially in seeing the drummer carrying his beautiful drum and leading the procession of musicians. Speaking of wonderful music, I now introduce our accompanist and musician extraordinaire, Dr. Gary Smart.
Good morning. I'm going to play a piece for you, written about 150 years ago by a famous composer named Frederic Chopin. He was Polish but lived most of his life in France. The name of this piece is the Aeolian Harp Etude. It's very beautiful. You know what wind chimes are. They're metal or glass things that you hang on your porch, and the wind excites them and makes a beautiful sound. Well, this is like wind strings. They were very popular in the 19th century. There was a box and across were strung some strings, and they put it in an open window, and when the wind came in, or even a breeze, it would hum a chord. And sometimes the bass strings more, sometimes the top strings more. It seemed to kind of undulate. And this piece is kind of an imitation of the Aeolian Harp, as it was called. Hope you enjoy.
Offertory. That is beautiful. It was always a pleasure to have you behind the piano on Sunday morning. And it's always a pleasure to see all of you in our sanctuary. Welcome one and all to Buckman Bridge Unitarian Universalist Church, fondly referred to as BBUUC. My name is Jennifer Bachmeister. My pronouns are she and her. I will be one of your worship leaders this morning, working with Beth Curtis and the children of religious education to present a different kind of service for you this morning, in case you hadn't already noticed. The nursery is open for our littlest wigglers, and the children are staying in the sanctuary this morning because it is an intergenerational service. If this is your first service with us, we extra welcome you this morning, and we encourage you to stop by the information table by the front door to get some more information about both the church and our congregation. And also, if this is your first service, I encourage you, come to a few more. Each service is a little different, as our faith encompasses a wide range of influences, as reflected in our sources and our 7 principles, both of which are printed in your order of service. As a faith, we are working hard to actualize a world where everyone is loved for who they are. The color of your skin, the arrangement of your anatomy, or who you love is never a bar to entry to our community. If you have any questions while you're here today, look for a yellow new Ask Me sticker on the name tag that I'm not wearing. Those folks are our expert BBUUCers, so to speak, and they can point you in the right direction to find most of the answers to the questions that you have, but we like some questions to be unanswered around here. We offer regular Learn About Us classes. You can talk to Julie Smithers. Is she here this morning? Oh, she's way in the back. Hi, Julie. That's Julie. You can talk to Julie about the Learn About Us classes to find out the schedule. If you haven't already done so, I would ask that you please silence your electronic devices, and we will return to our story.
The mother and her daughter didn't have enough money to go see the musicians in town, but oftentimes the girl would sit on the front stoop of their small house and try to hear the band that was playing down the street. She couldn't hear all the instruments. She couldn't hear the tweet of the flutes. Ba-da-dup, ba-da-dup. She couldn't hear the soft thrums of the sitar. Brum, brum. But what she could hear was this. Ba-da-dum, 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 ba-da-dum. The sound of the drum would echo through the town. The girl imagined that being a drummer would be the best thing in the world. Oh, how she would love to own a drum, but she never told her mother because she knew that they would never have enough money for such an extravagant item. The girl was content sitting on her front step, listening to the drum. She thought about everything she did have. She had a mother that loved her very much. They had enough food to eat. Life was good, and she was very grateful. But that did not change the fact that in her heart she very much would love to have a drum. I now invite the shopkeeper up for a quick transaction over here. One day, the mother gathered her things to go to the market to sell some grain. It happened to have been the girl's birthday. On her way out, she asked her daughter, "What can I bring you from the market?" Well, the mother had interrupted the girl in a daydream. And in this daydream, she was imagining herself to be a talented drummer. Before she could stop herself, she said, "Oh, all I truly want, Mother, is a drum." But then the girl stopped. And that's not what she had meant to say. She recovered and she said, "Well, perhaps we could afford a little honey for a sweet cake for my birthday?" The mother smiled and patted her on the head. She knew she would never have enough money to buy a drum for her daughter. The mother proceeded to the market. The mother went to the market and sold her grain. She then bought some flour, some salt, and a little honey as a treat. But after that, she had no money left. Is this a fair transaction? You got all your change? Okay, awesome, awesome. I now invite our funny little man up. I'm sorry. Okay, so, thank you, shopkeeper. You can sit down. A lot of moving parts this morning. The mother felt sad that she was coming home without a drum for her daughter on her birthday. She loved her daughter so much and would love nothing more than to bring a gift. She was started home with tears in her eyes, and that caused her to almost trip over a funny little man sitting by the side of the road. The man was surprised, and the mother was surprised, and the man asked her why she was crying. She explained the reason, and the man sat and thought for a moment. "Are you thinking?" And said, "Aha! Give your daughter this stick for her birthday. This stick came from a magic tree. It may still have enough magic in it to bring your daughter luck." Frankly, the mother didn't know what to think about giving her daughter a stick for her birthday. But she was very gracious and thanked the man for his generosity. The mother continued on her way, and the funny little man disappeared into thin air. Poof! Wow, that was a good poof. Thank you, funny little man. Okay, we're going to sing our opening hymn a little bit differently today. We're going to learn a few words in sign language. Sign language is the language that people who cannot hear use to communicate. They use their hands and their facial expressions to communicate words and ideas. Now, you probably don't need your hymn books. This is a super easy hymn. Now, your hands are going to be too busy to hold your hymn books anyhow. Now, I'm going to teach you a few words in sign so that you can sign along with us. Okay, I invite all the kids to come up here and stand on the steps. And Miss Marilyn's going to teach you the sign as well, okay? So the song goes something like this, okay? From you I receive, and the word is receive, and this is the sign for receive. Receive. To you I give. Together we share. So you're going to do mitten hands, and you're going to go like this. Together we share. And from this we live. And the word is live. So, pew, 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 okay? Live. Okay, once more. From you I receive. To you I give. Together we share. And by this we live. Awesome, you've got it. Okay. The congregation can remain seated so they can see everyone. Gary will play the song once through, and we will sing it 4 times. last time. Thank you, everyone.
Now, honestly, how many times have you been to church and you can go home at the end of the hour and say, I learned another language? It's another language. Congratulations. We come together each Sunday morning to renew our faith, refresh our spirit, and support each other as we travel our own journeys of religious exploration and discovery. It's important to recognize that a community of this nature, free from creed and dogma, requires something more of its members. We speak our congregational covenant each Sunday morning to remind us of that something more. We rely on each person to have the willingness and the openness to share their gifts, a generosity of spirit. We believe everyone has something to offer. You are a unique, important person, and your perspective and your experience is valuable. So as we read the covenant together this morning, I encourage you to reflect on how the generosity of spirit is integral to the ideals of our covenant. Please remain seated. The covenant is printed in your order of service, and read along with me, please. We covenant to engage one another with honesty, kindness, and respect, to value diversity, seek understanding of our differences, and practice gracious accountability with care, love, and empathy. We make these promises to those who are here and those yet to come, so that we may be a safe, welcoming, and beloved community of acceptance, learning, and transformation. I'll ask you now to please rise and join me in singing our call to worship. The words are printed in your order of service. Sound marvelous this morning. Must be the sign language. I now invite the LoRusso family to please come forward to light our chalice this morning. Well, he's participating. He's encouraging you from afar. November 20th marks Transgender Day of Remembrance, an annual observance that honors the memory of transgender people whose lives were lost in acts of anti-transgender violence. We dedicate our chalice lighting today to those lives lost. So as we light this chalice, may we come to a time when we, as a society, cease to shame children around general gender roles and expression, where we allow for freedom and exploration of identity and expression, and may we come to a world that operates from love. Thank you.
We find ourselves in the home of the young girl and her mother. The mother just made a sweet cake for her daughter's birthday, and with the honey that she bought. They enjoyed it very much. Then the mother presented her daughter the stick, which was wrapped in a colorful cloth. Good thinking, though. That could have been a problem. The daughter looked puzzled and looked at the stick and then looked at her mom questioningly. The mother told the daughter of the story of the funny little man and how he said the stick would bring her daughter good luck. The mother and daughter looked at each other knowingly and smiled, and the daughter thanked her mother for the sweet honey cake and for bringing the stick home to her. The mother said to the daughter how lucky she was to have such a wonderful daughter, and the daughter had given her a big hug. And then the mother, they just can't get enough of that hugging. And then the mother went to bed. I now invite the man with the fire to come up. Oh my goodness. Instant presto, he appeared. The next day, the young girl was unsure of what to do with the stick. She decided to take a long walk, and at first, she marched with the stick, holding it like a baton. Then she used it as a pretend sword, and she vanquished the invisible enemies all around her. The girl came across an old man sitting next to a small group of sticks that were creating a lot of smoke. The man was trying to light the sticks on to make a fire. His eyes were watering, perhaps from all the smoke. The girl realized the fire was not catching. She also realized that the man's tears were not just from the smoke, he was crying. The girl stopped and asked why he was crying, and the man said that he couldn't light his fire and cook his bread. All of the wood was too wet because it had been raining. He explained that if he could not light his fire, then he could not cook his flatbreads. If he did not sell his flatbreads, then he wouldn't make enough money to feed his family that evening. The girl said, without thinking, "Why, I have a beautiful dry piece of wood right here. Use it to make your fire." The old man was very pleased indeed, and the fire lit immediately, really immediately. The girl watched as the man made some bread. Oh, it smelled so good as it turned golden brown. The man gave the largest piece of the freshly cooked bread to the girl. The girl was amazed and incredibly grateful. She thanked the man and thought of how she had started off with a stick, and now she had a fine piece of fresh bread. That must have been a lucky stick indeed. She moved forward and she looked forward to telling her mother the story, and then she skipped down the road. Brianna Smith up here. She's our potter today. We have an extra baby. Maybe you have twins. Come on over here. Awesome. Okay. The girl took the piece of fresh bread and walked on until she came upon the town potter. The potter was holding a young child who was crying and flailing its arms. Here you go. You can barely hear it, but it was actually much louder. The girl stopped and asked why the child was crying. The potter said the child was hungry and she had nothing in the house to give him. The girl generously and without thinking of herself gave the bread to her, and the potter gave it to the child, who eagerly ate it and stopped crying right away. The potter said, thank you, that was so kind and so generous of you. She was so grateful to the girl that she gave her one of her finest pots. Wow, a fine new pot. The girl knew her mother would love a new pot, and she thanked the potter for her generosity, and the girl went on her way. This really epitomizes from you I receive to you I give. Together we share, and by this we live. I now introduce Hannah Laura Chappell, our junior worship leader.
In the words of Elizabeth Murphy, your contributions are a tangible commitment to the mission and vision of this congregation. Each time you give, you renew this commitment, and as a result, your support is entwined with all that we believe and all that we do here together. This is its very own special gift. Our congregation is financially supported by your generosity. We both give to each other and receive from each other in community, and we gratefully accept your gifts this morning. You can find giving envelopes in the hymnals, and if you prefer an alternative method, you can donate by using the QR code, which can be found in your order of service, or by going to our website, bbuuc.org, by clicking the donate link. Whether you choose to donate or not, I ask you to please participate in this ritual by passing the plates to those next to you. After the offering is complete, please rise in body or spirit to sing our offertory hymn, number 123, Spirit of Life. At this time, I would like to invite our ushers, Marilyn Jones and Ted Clibsby, to come forward and collect the offerings.
I now invite the washerman and washerwoman to come up. As the girl walked on carrying the large pot, she came to the river where she saw a washerman and washerwife quarreling. All around them were dirty clothes and a broken pot. The washerman said, "My wife broke the only pot we had. Now we have nothing to wash our clothes in. This is how we make our money, washing clothes." The wife chirped in calmly, "We were both carrying the pot when it broke. It slipped out of both our hands. How is that my fault?" Marriage is often difficult, and a family business is even harder. The girl, without hesitating, said, "I know. Don't quarrel. Take this pot and use it." The girl put down the pot on the ground and gave it for them. The washerman and his wife stood with their mouths open at the kind generosity of this young girl. They were very happy to get this new pot. The washerman thanked the girl, and in return, he took out one of his finest coats and gave it to the girl in gratitude. The girl held up the coat in amazement. Now, it might be a little bit big for her, but she had never seen such a fine garment. She thanked the washerman and his wife, and she went along her way. I now invite up the shivering man and his horse. Here you go. The girl walked along the riverbank, and she soon came to a bridge where she saw a man standing next to a horse, shivering in the cold and completely wet. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, method acting is a little bit better, actually. So, she asked the man what had happened to him, and the man with his teeth chattering said, "I was coming to the village on this horse, and robbers attacked me and took everything, including my coat, and then they pushed me into the river. My horse got away, but fortunately came back, and I'm so cold." The girl said right away, thinking only of how cold the man must have been, "Don't worry, you can have this coat to help you keep warm." The man took the coat and put it on, and stood in amazement at the girl's generosity, and said, thank you, you're so very kind. I want to give you this horse in return, for I have many more at home." A horse? The girl had received a piece of wood, albeit a lucky piece of wood, for her birthday, but because of her generosity and thinking only of others, not of herself, she had been given a piece of bread, a fine pot, a stupendous coat, and now a horse. The girl took the horse and continued down the road.
Our reading today is adapted from The Joy of Generosity by Beth Roth. The Buddha said, "If you knew, as I do, the power of giving, you would not let a single meal pass without sharing some of it. Generosity is powerful for very good reasons. Generosity is characterized by the inner quality of letting go or relinquishing. It reverses the forces that create suffering. It is an essential antidote to the habits of clinging, grasping, guarding, and attachment that lead to so much pain and suffering. Generosity brings happiness at every stage of its expression. We experience joy in forming the intention to give. We experience joy in the action of giving. And we experience joy in remembering that we have given. As Gandhi said, the fragrance remains in the hand that gives the rose. So as we enter the holiday season, a season often associated as a season of plenty, if not excess at times, it is befitting that it starts with our Thanksgiving traditions, a celebration of gratitude for all that we have. And rightly so, Thanksgiving is directly followed by Giving Tuesday, a time when, as a nation, we are prompted to share our resources with those less fortunate and with deserving organizations who are doing so much good in the world. We've invited you to bring canned or dry goods with you today, which will be donated to the Clothes Closet Food Pantry in Orange Park. This organization helps hundreds of families in need each year with food, clothing, and financial assistance. I invite the kids to help us today. If you've brought any items to contribute, please raise your hand. And a child will help bring the items up to our makeshift cornucopia of giving, which is actually this little piece of stairs right here. Do you see the makeshift cornucopia of giving? Right there. We thank you in advance for your kindness and generosity in bringing something to share. And while we collect the food, Dr. Smart will play From You I Receive, those are stage notes. Dr. Smart knows what he's supposed to be doing. Don't listen to me. If you would raise your hand, the kids will come gather up your donated food items.
Thank you for your generosity. This is really great. I now invite 5 or 6 congregational members who would like to be part of our play to come up. We have some wraps you can use. You're going to be in a wedding party. So anyone that wants to... Yeah, you guys want to come up again? Sure. So we have some fancy sequins over there, and you're going to sit right here on the steps. Okay, awesome. Then Mom sits here, and awesome. Okay, so our wedding party is just going to sit right here on the steps. Okay, we'll give you a moment. Okay, so while they're getting ready, let me give you a synopsis of what's going on. Our young friend has shown us what it means to be generous and what it means to be grateful. what it means to receive and what it means to give. The young girl was grateful when she had nothing. She was grateful to have enough to eat and to have a loving mother who took care of her. She had wanted a drum for her birthday, but now, because of her generosity, she had a horse. Holding gratitude in our hearts and living a life where we are grateful for what we have every day leads us to a path of generosity. Now back to our story. So the girl and the horse proceeded down the road. And very soon she came across a wedding party who all had long faces. And with them was the musicians. Oh, I need the drummer up there too. Awesome. Okay. The musicians from her favorite little band in the town. The bridegroom and his family were sitting under a tree with very, very long faces. The girl stopped and asked why they looked so depressed. The bridegroom said, "Where's our bridegroom?" Late to the wedding. Okay, so the bridegroom said, "Well, we're all set to go on our wedding procession, but we need a horse because it's very unlucky for a groom in our tradition to arrive without a horse. The bridegroom just can't arrive on foot." You see, in their tradition, it was very unlucky for him to arrive to a wedding on anything but a horse. The man also continued, "And it's getting late, and we'll miss the auspicious hour for the wedding, and maybe the bride will even back out if we don't arrive on time." Well, what do you think the girl did? Well, this generous girl offered him her horse, and they were delighted, and they called out in glee. Glee! Yay! Okay, awesome. The bridegroom asked her what he could do for her in return, and the girl looked towards the musician and said, "Why, I would like to play that drum, even if it's just for a little while." Well, the bridegroom spoke to the drummer and had no trouble persuading the drummer to give the drum to the girl. Because the drummer always carried an extra one just in case. And the father of the bridegroom invited the young girl to the wedding party, and also invited the young girl's mother and any of her friends who wanted to come to the reception to dance and sing. The bridegroom mounted the horse. Good enough. And the wedding party proceeded to the wedding, which is basically happening over here, you guys, for just a few minutes, okay? This is where the wedding is. So all the wedding party, come over here for a moment. Excellent. Okay. The girl now rushed home to her mother, beating her new drum and quickly recounting how she got it, beginning with a piece of wood from the funny little man. The mother was amazed at the story. Are you amazed? There you go. They put their best clothes on, which were still very humble, and proceeded into town where the wedding was. Now, on behalf of the wedding party, I invite all the children or any adults who would like to come up and participate to come and help dance or help sing the band to help the band play their song. This will involve general merriment. Here comes the bride. This will involve general merriment and hand clapping. Now, children, do you all have instruments? Maybe Miss Marilyn can pass out the instruments. You can keep that one. Okay. So all of the townspeople were at the wedding. During the wedding reception, the band allowed the young girl to play on her new drum. And as it turned out, it was a natural, and it was very loud, too. The band struck up a very... Okay, you guys, for 1 second. Okay, the time will come. The band struck up a very popular tune. In fact, I think you all know it. I invite you all to stand and sing a rousing rendition of hymn 118, This Little Light of Mine. We'll sing all 3 verses, but I'll call out the words if you just want to clap. Gary, hit it. This little light of mine. Everywhere I go. Building up a world. Okay, the instruments go back into the box. Awesome. I want all the kids to take a bow. Brooke and Laurel. Okay. Brooke and Laurel, come on up. Anyhow. A special thanks to Laurel Halliday and Brooke Locker-Palmer, who play the roles of the daughter and the mother. Thank y'all.
So as much as we all heard a story about gratitude today, I would also like to remind the congregation that improvisation is a skill that we only get better at when we practice. So look what we're teaching the kids. We learned a language and we worked on a skill today. So you didn't know you were getting this much on Sunday morning, did you? I did. They did, okay. This is why we have to have you in the service with us sometimes, so we benefit from your wisdom. It does go both ways. It absolutely does. I would like to invite the LaRusso family back up to extinguish our chalice this morning. Again, encouragement from afar counts as participation. The reading today is entitled, the benediction is entitled, It Becomes More. When we take fire from our chalice, it does not become less, it becomes more. And so we extinguish our chalice, but we take its light and its warmth with us, multiplying its power by all of our lives and sharing it with the world. Go in peace, happy Thanksgiving, and blessed be. Yay!